Well guys, it's that time of year, winter driving. And as you know, sand, salt, and brine absolutely destroys your car. So today we're gonna go over the step-by-step process for properly maintaining your car throughout the winter months. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this episode. More on this coming up. This is a 2020 Subaru Outback owned by Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus. Now, I mean that literally. They play the characters for multiple towns in Connecticut, many of which I've gone to with my family over the years. They also foster children that have been neglected by parents due to drugs, alcohol, and even death because of those addictions, leaving the children as orphans. These people are silent, behind-the-scenes angels that so many depend on, yet never see, hear about, or recognize. They are wonderful people, and I'm super excited about this episode.
What do you think?
Now, last week I was over at Steve and Laura's, and they showed me damage to the Subaru. As it turns out, the foster children they were working with tried to wash their car with rocks as a thank you. Now, it happens all the time. Kids are trying to be sweet. We've all been there. But because of this damage, they didn't want it to rust over the winter. So after they left, Laura called me over to take a look at the damage. Now, they think that it's just here for an oil change and was hoping that Laura was going to put some touch up on it or whatever, but we're going to take it back to the studio and I'm going to see if I can remove all of this and do a winterization for them as well. This is going to be a super fun surprise for some really wonderful people, but we do have to work quick before they come back for their oil change. Before we get started, here are 3 quick things to keep in mind for your winter prep. Number 1, completing this process prior to the first winter snow and salt is critical, so fall is an ideal time. For number 2, what I'm demonstrating today is more of a prosumer method, so pick and choose the techniques based on your needs and skill level from this video. Some prep is better than no prep, so don't beat yourself up if you can't do all of what I'm showing today. Number 3 is to avoid the common pitfalls of inverse logic. Now, most car owners think, I'm not going to detail my car because it's gross outside and it's only going to get dirty, so that's just a waste of my time. Yet, when it's a beautiful day in the summer, they regularly wash and wax their car. This is what I call inverse logic, meaning winter driving requires more preparation and regular maintenance than summer typically does, much the same as wearing a jacket when it's cold outside. In short, winter is brutal on cars, so you need to maintain it more than you might in the summer. First, if possible, remove the wheels. Now, this can be done with jack stands 1 by 1 or quick jacks. Now, this has been in a ton of my videos of cleaning my wife's Subaru in the driveway, or just a conventional lift like this one here. Removing the wheels allows you to easily access the inner barrels for coating later, and of course the brakes and the calipers and the suspension and the undercarriage. You just have much better access to all that. If you can't do it, don't sweat it. You can still do a great job with the car on the ground. To clean the undercarriage and the wheel wells, mix Boost anti-salt and foam soap to cut through any old salts and minerals. Then scrub with a short-handled brush if you have access to the underneath. If not, just focus on scrubbing the frame rails closest to the doors or use a long-handled brush with the car on the ground. When done, rinse the undercarriage thoroughly. They even make undercarriage water brooms designed for regular rinsing. I'll put a link down below. Okay, as you can see by the floor, it is much cleaner now. Next, focus on the wheel wells and suspension. Again, letting Boost anti-salt soak and then scrubbing. Now, this can be super therapeutic, so just enjoy the discipline of cleaning. For the calipers, I'm using Plum Wheel Cleaner because of how much brake dust is present. Spend some time here to ensure all the parts are super clean. Real quick before we work on the engine, come over here. I noticed something really cool. Now, we've all seen water spots and we've seen outlines of the leaves everywhere, but I just noticed, watch when I move this leaf. you can really see that that is the outline of the leaf itself. So when we're in fall and we're getting into winter and the leaves start falling, it's really important to remove that from your paint because you can see the outline of the leaf itself and the leaf, which I thought was pretty cool. So we're gonna polish that out in a little bit, but for now, let's work on cleaning the engine. Oh, and she definitely needs it. Step one is to remove all the leaves. So first thing is, a lot of times you come in and you want to power wash everything. It just makes a hot mess. And you can see, I don't understand how they actually got it into this area here, but we need to blow this all out before we actually power wash everything. It just make a hot mess. If you can't compress air or use compressed air, be sure to vacuum this out first. So that's step number one here. Here we go. Remember, our goal here isn't a concourse car, but a clean and protected frame for winter. Just when I thought I was finished with all the leaves, the hood insulation released a lot of leaves that looked like it was part of a nest material. I wasn't quite sure, and I didn't notice it before. Now, obviously, if I had seen it, I wouldn't have done it now because everything inside the engine compartment's wet, so I'm making a bit of a mess here, but it is what it is. So I pulled all of that insulation off and put it outside. Clearly, a mouse was living here. See, that's the hair. After I inspected it a little bit more, you could see that with a nest above a hot engine, I can only imagine the smell of warm mouse urine over the winter months. So that would have been pretty gross. Anyhow, I foamed and scrubbed everything, especially under the hood because of that urine. If you don't have an air compressor, that's totally fine. A leaf blower will work just fine in this case. With the bottom of the car and the engine now clean, I repeated the same process on the paint. First, I rinsed everything, then used the foam cannon with boost and foam again, and then just let it dwell for a few minutes. Don't forget, you need to hit the door and trunk jams as well, especially before winter. We got to clean those out. Next, add 2 wash towels to a bucket of warm water, boost and foam again, mixed in, and then gently agitate the paint. For the jams, use your towel and or a wheel brush to release the grime from the tight spots. This is what we affectionately call the armpits of your car. Once you're done with the paint, focus on the door jams. You want to give these a really good cleaning before winter because this is where everything goes wrong. And so you can take a brush as well, get in there and agitate. For delicate areas underneath here, you'll see a lot of cars that have oxidation that starts right here. And the reason why is it's a little tray and it can hold the water, it can hold the leaves. Now sometimes if I'm not in a studio like this, or I don't have access to a lot of power washers, etc., you can take Brute wheel soap, put it in a clear bottle, shake it up, spray it, and then scrub at the same time. If you don't have a power washer or don't have tools like this, it's a really quick and easy way to kind of get everything to be flushed out. You want to start fresh with respect to winter, because a lot of times this will hold the salt from the front tire, and then bang, within a year or two, you'll start to see it's all eating away at the paint, and then it'll start to pop through on the other side. You'll see it on 1,000 cars when you're driving around. Next time you see that on the lower part of the door, you'll know exactly why now. Oh, nice. Now keep in mind, when you're doing the rinse phase of this whole process, and you're going to be doing it multiple times, you really want to focus on hitting the seams and the crevices to blow out any trapped dirt that may clog your rain rails and your gas tank drainage. So you're not just power washing just to remove the soap, you're doing it with a purpose. Okay, so this is the test right here. You can see it's already unclogged. Take a little bit of water, put the water in there. Do you see it coming out this little hole down here? See it? So that means this area, oh, there's the hole. See, we just cleaned it out. That's the hole right there. I don't know if you can see it, just in front of my finger. Right there. So this could get plugged really easy. So I'll put some water in there. And now look at it coming out down there. Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Now, whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and to sell anything from products to content to even time, all in one place and all on your own terms. Start a completely personalized website with the new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint. Choose from professionally curated layout and style options to build a unique online presence from the ground up, tailored to your brand or business and optimized for every device. Easily launch your website and get discovered fast with integrated, optimized SEO tools so you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want. Squarespace makes checkout seamless for your customers with simple but powerful payment tools. Accept credit cards, PayPal, and Apple Pay, and in eligible countries, offer customers the option to buy now and pay later with Afterpay and ClearPay. You can also upload video content, organize your video library, and showcase your content on beautiful video pages. You can even sell access to your video library by adding a paywall to your content, which is pretty cool. Go to squarespace.com for your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/AmmoNYC to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Now, back to the Subaru. Afterwards, rinse and clay the paint should it feel rough to the touch. Now, if it's super smooth, then just skip this step because it's totally unnecessary. However, if you do need it, to do it, you're going to use the same soap and towel that you just used, squeeze out the lubrication, and then gently glide the clay patty across the contaminated paint. As the clay pad becomes full, you're going to knead it. You're going to crush it in your hands and then sort of make it into like a hamburger patty and start again. You don't want it to have over contamination in it because you can scratch the paint with an over contaminated clay bar. You're going to see that the color changes from white, original, to yellowish brown, maybe more brown than others, or maybe a little bit on the red side too from contamination buildup. So once you see that, it's time to knead and sort of start over again with a fresh patty. Quick side note, after you're done using the clay bar, if you do not wash it or rinse it afterwards, the soap that you used as lubrication can degrade the material over multiple days, even months. So just quickly run it under the water, knead it a little bit, turn it into a ball, and put it back into your plastic container. You should be fine. I rinsed the car one more time after the clay, and then I focused on the wheels. If the wheels are off the car, you can use a wheel stand. Again, I'll put a link in the description to make your life a little bit easier. These are pretty cool. If they're still on the car, then just use a long handle wheel woolly to reach the inner barrels. Either way, with a separate bucket, use Brute wheel soap and, again, Boost anti-salt mixed into the water. Apply Plum wheel cleaner and scrub. The pointy wheel lug nut brush can be really helpful here to get into the tight spots around the caliper. Then scrub the rubber with a stiff bristle brush to remove the last of the summer tire dressing. You may see it turn brown in the process, which means the old stuff is coming off. When you're done, rinse everything one last time. Okay, at this point, the car is completely clean and clearly you can see that it's wet. We do need to dry it properly. To do that, we use Ammo Hydrate and a wet or a damp microfiber towel. Give it a good shake, spray it onto the towel. You can see it's very viscous, it's thick. You're gonna go in, and you're gonna give it a good wipe, and you can see that there's little lines here. That's adding protection and lubrication during the drying process so you don't scratch. Now this is more of a maintenance process, so when you're in winter and you have to wash it, this is a good technique. We're also gonna go in and blow out all the seams. We really wanna make sure that this car is very dry for this particular process, meaning the pre-winter cleanup. Reason why is at the end, we're gonna put a coating on here and I wanna make sure everything is dry. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit here. I'm gonna clean everything, dry everything, make sure it's bone dry. Then I'm gonna show you another process, and that is fluid film. To do that, we're going to lift this up and we're gonna spray it on everything that's exposed. Now, if you don't have a lift, totally understand. Just try to get underneath, and anything that you see that's metal, that's bare aluminum, bare metal, bare whatever, you really wanna cover that to make sure that during winter, all the salt and the brine doesn't stick to it. It's a really inexpensive way to protect the underneath of your car to extend the longevity of your vehicle and certainly avoid any corrosion during the winter months. So we're gonna do that right now. It can be helpful to put a drop cloth or a plastic sheet on the floor or your driveway as well. It's not the best smelling product in the world either, so be prepared when you apply. Just a quick heads up, when you do apply it, at first it looks a little bit bubbly, but after an hour or so, it will flatten out and have a glossy appearance. Also keep in mind that it's not going to make the current oxidation disappear on your car, but it will protect it and then slow the rate of rust from spreading as quick as if it wasn't applied. Either way, it's a quick and easy annual protection versus fully undercoating your car from the factory. Fluid film can be applied to the hood pockets, the battery terminals, and any exposed metal. Again, I'll put a link in the description for more info. Although not mandatory, if you do choose to polish your paint, now would be the time to do that. Before winter and applying a coating, it is a smart choice to exfoliate your paint to help that coating apply to the surface a little bit easier. To do that, use a waffle finishing pad, exfoliate polish, and a DA polisher on speed 3. It should take you about 1 to 2 hours to complete the entire car. Now, on the other hand, because of the massive rock damage to this particular car, I'm going to need to sand, compound, and probably touch up the scratch if the sanding isn't effective. I'll have a completely separate video on this process, but if you're interested in the cliff notes for removing these scratches, I sanded with 1500, then 3000 on a palm sander, compounded with a DA course and a wool pad, polished with exfoliate and a foam waffle pad, and the before and after was huge. Luckily, the paint was so robust that I didn't have to use touch-up paint for the repair. Be sure to watch the full-length step-by-step tutorial on the studio channel for more info on the scratch removal process. With the scratches now gone and the paint polished, I removed everything from the interior of the car and used compressed air to blow out all the tight spots, which helps with effective vacuuming, and it blows all the junk from under the seats out so that your nozzle can pick it up easily.
Want to see something crazy? Santa Claus has a candy cane stuck to his carpet right there. If that's not appropriate, I don't know what is.
Next, use lather and an interior brush just to agitate the summer's worth of oils and dirt that's left on the leather. Again, we're doing this now not to win a concourse or whatever, but to prepare the interior for the winter by applying a protectant and moisturizer for the upcoming dry months. Now, to do that, we first need to clean the surface with lather. We found a smashed candy cane in the carpet. To remove it, I sprayed shag and then used a plastic scraper just to lift the candy from the fibers. This is going to take a few minutes, but if you do it slowly enough and let the shag penetrate, you can remove it and you'll never know the difference. So we just performed a maintenance cleaning for the interior, but now on to the winterization aspect of it. We're gonna be using Mousse interior conditioner, not only for the UV protection, although it's not summer, you're still gonna get a lot of sun inside the car. The more important aspect of it is it gets very dry, just like your skin. You have to put moisturizer in winter and your nose gets dry, your face, your skin, etc. Same thing happens to the interior of a car. So we're gonna put mousse on there. Now, the trick to this one is normally I use just a blue applicator. You've seen me do this 1,000 times, but because this whole thing is perforated, we're gonna be using a microfiber towel. Give mousse a shake, pour it on here like this, and then what you're gonna do is take it and mush it in. And the reason why, if you use an applicator pad here and put it on the seat, you're gonna see it fill the holes because it's obviously perforated. But when it's like this, all the microfiber little fingers, all the fibers are covered in mousse, and it'll be able to go in and out of the holes and the little creases and crevices without filling them up. So, like this, and now give it a quick wipe. This is a much faster way of doing it, and really smart during the winter time because this is going to get very dried and cracked. And of course you have the other aspects of getting in and out of dried material here, and you don't want to have any friction. When it's dry and there's friction, that's when you can increase the chances of having these stress cracks. So do this, take you probably 15-20 minutes to do the entire interior. Really important before winter to make sure that you're all lubricated up and moisturized. Be sure to buff it to a matte finish after a few minutes. Now when it comes to carpets, it's almost a given that you're gonna get these salt and brine stains from your feet walking in the parking lot, getting into the car. I've seen it all the time. We use siphon to remove those. But then I thought, hey, I wanna try to work on a product that's actually going to prevent that from happening, or at least minimize and make it easier to clean. And I've been working on a little prototype here. You spray it on the carpet, and you let it sit, and you must let it dry. So we're gonna let this sit and dry for a couple of hours, and once it is dry, you're gonna see anything that spills on it just beads right up. It gives you a few minutes for sure to soak it up, and let's say you spill coffee or juice or whatever, it's not gonna immediately penetrate into the fiber. So we're really stoked about that, but the bottom line is we're always testing new products, and we're doing it in real situations like this here. So we're really pumped about that one. Stay tuned for when it comes out. Now, when it comes to exterior trim, you can see she's starting to fade. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but we're starting to get there. So the goal here is to not only bring it back to life so it looks better, but more importantly, to make sure that when we're driving, we have the front tire and of course the rear tire, they're gonna be spitting up a lot of sand, salt, brine. We wanna have it hydrophobic so it doesn't stick and continue to wear this out. So to do that, we're gonna be using oleo. You're gonna put trim dressing on an applicator, and I'll just do a quick 50-50 here. You're gonna see it looks 10 times better, but more importantly, after this dries, it's gonna make it so that anything that hits this is gonna bounce off and sort of be a little bit more hydrophobic so it doesn't stick and cause more damage. Now, if there is more damage, like this one over here is just starting to go, there's a spot on the back as well where it really turns white, let's say on Jeep Wranglers or Cherokees, when they have a lot of those trim pieces, we're gonna go in and use Frame Pro for that. That is more of a restorative product. This one's more of a maintenance product. So to me, right here, we're still in maintenance zone. Another 2-3 years, and then we'd have to probably go into frame. So keep all that in mind. But the goal is just to make sure all your trim is protected, to make sure that that brine, salt, and all the junk from winter driving just rolls right off. Quick tip, since you have your oleo out and you're working on the trim, you wanna use the same applicator pad and just moisturize the rubber seals. And the reason why we do that, especially in fall, is we've all been in a situation in winter where it's really cold outside and the door sticks. A lot of times this has to do with the seals sticking. So this is a great way to sort of prevent that, add some moisture to it, and obviously prolong the life and the longevity of these. These are your, if you go to replace these, by the way, they're really, really expensive, like oddly expensive for some reason. So take care of them because a lot of times they are neglected for sure. It's a good way to do it. With the undercarriage and interior now clean and protected, we're gonna focus on protecting the paint. This is the big one because it's gonna be outside all winter. Now you have a couple options: wax, sealant, and then of course coatings. On this particular car, we're gonna be putting Reflex Pro 2, which is a coating. It's gonna last a little bit longer than the sealants and of course the waxes, but we'll go over the step-by-step process to put it on. It's pretty easy and it does look fantastic when we're done. Before adding any coating, wipe with an ISO or a water-based prep product to thoroughly clean the surface first. Next, apply Reflex Pro 2 on a microfiber applicator pad. Work one panel at a time and remove once you notice the rainbow indicating the cure has taken place. Now this can be anywhere from 30 seconds to about a minute or so. You want to use about 3/4 of a bottle for most average size vehicles, and to do that, you want to apply a thick layer during the application process. This is going to make your life so much easier during the winter maintenance washes, as dirt, salt, and brine will just fly off the car during the power washing. Next, although barely driven, the all-season tires that came on the car were pushing about 4 years old, so it was time to get proper winters on Santa's sleigh. And for that, I went to Ace Performance in Ridgefield to order my Vredestein Windtrack Pro Pluses. These are a huge upgrade in safety for all winter conditions that will last several winter seasons with less wear and increased miles or usage, saving you money for more Christmas presents. This is the ultimate winter tire for high-performance cars, SUVs, and even Santa. So power up your drive, experience the plus in winter performance. And a huge thank you to Vredestein for hooking Santa up. That means the world to me. You guys are the best. Thank you. With the new soles replaced at Ace, I coated the rims with Gillet wheel coating. Now, if your wheel is off the car, then it's really easy to coat the inside of the rim as well. If it's still on the car, no problem. Work the face of the rim at minimum. Again, this is going to keep the road brine and the salt from easily sticking to the rim. So once you power wash it, boom, it all comes off. It's super easy. Then added mud dressing. I cleaned up the windows and she was looking quite good. Now, if you find any sap on the windows, which I found at the bottom right here, use a razor blade at a 45-degree angle. It'll take it right off. Obviously, don't do that on the paint, but on windows, you can use a razor blade. As far as the mechanical winter maintenance goes, you want to check your air filter first. You can see it's not really bad, so this one's going to stay in there. And then I checked the windshield wiper fluid a little bit low. Now, you have to make sure that the winter wiper fluid is at least -20 degrees, depending on where you are, of course. But here, we need at least -20. They tend to have additives that melt the ice and the frost, so make sure you get the right one. I also like to change my cabin filter before winter as well, because you're going to have your windows closed most of the time because it's cold outside. So you're breathing this recirculated air. And if you remember from when I was using the compressed air, it was kind of extra nasty inside. So we want to just start fresh. Now for 10 or 15 bucks, it's just super smart to replace one. And this one here was actually gross. Now, after all that work winterizing and protecting your car, there is one Achilles heel to the entire thing. If your car doesn't start, sort of renders all of our work useless. And most of the time that has to do with the battery. We've all been there. You go to start it and it's cold outside, and it just doesn't have the power to kick it. Why? Because when the temperature drops, the chemical reactions within the battery actually slow down. So it's much harder to generate that power. And two, we always have the heat on, basically when we start the engine, that draw really sucks a lot of cranking apps here. And so when it's cold out, a lot of times we have a dead battery. To avoid that, two things. One, you want to make sure that your battery is changed every 3 to 5 years. The way that we know that is on the battery, you can see there's a lot of numbers and a lot of dates. That's when it was installed. So do the math and figure out 3 to 5 years. I don't really like to go over 4 years for my cars, but keep that all in mind. The second thing is you really want to install a battery tender smart charger. The reason why is it's going to charge and just keep a little bit of charge going into that battery so it doesn't die when you go to crank it later on, especially if you're going to park the car for long periods of time. Plus, this one here will also act as a jumper too, just in case the battery does die. You can pull it out of your trunk, zap it, get back in, then have the time to actually change the battery and do it properly. So something to keep in mind. After all this cool work that we did, it looks fantastic. If you can't start the car, sort of useless. Finally, add a blanket, windshield ice scraper, jumper box, and a safety kit to your trunk just in case you break down or you're in a position to help someone who might be in a jam. Once the winterization was done, I pulled the Subaru across the street to Steve's for a fresh oil change and to top up some fluids, and the Outback was ready for the surprise. Check out your new car.
Wow,
Hey, pumpkin.
that looks like $1 million. Brand new.
All of this, all the scratches are gone. We got you brand spanking new winter tires.
This looks better than when it came out of the showroom.
That's it. Well, I know you take care of a lot of people in a lot of towns. And yeah, we appreciate you. So thank you.
You're quite welcome.
No,
Thank
no
you very
worries.
much. God
Yes.
bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, this is awesome.
This is gorgeous.
Real treat, and we're excited to see you. You guys are still going to be Santa Claus.
Oh,
and-
Yeah, we're already
Sorry.
booked. We
Already
start
booked?
Got 32 different.
the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We start right till
That's awesome.
Christmas Eve.
My son is going to be pumped. Well, enjoy your car. Now you got your own sleigh. This thing could not be better for winter, especially with those tires and everything. So you're good to go.
Thank you very, very much.
problem.
We really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
Enjoy.